Hey everybody, and welcome back. And continuing my series of action figure fails, I'm gonna throw one out at you that's gonna be a little bit controversial because these are somewhat beloved lately. Yeah. However, on that same note, I really don't see these flying off the shelves either. These are the new line of Funko ReAction figures, and when I first saw them, I was intrigued. Like a lot of action figure collectors, these figures harken back to the old 80s Kenner figures. The style of the packaging, even the font of the logo, is a great recreation of what we saw back in the 80s with the classic Kenner Star Wars action figures. The things that make us think about our childhood and the excitement of opening these up at Christmas. And they have the basic 5 articulation, they have the primitive design, and at a glance, these just look great. I mean, you're a collector. They have licenses for movies that just lend themselves great to action figures. So, like me, you're probably looking at these and you're like, wow, I'd like to own these, until you look at the price tag and they go anywhere from $9 to $15 or $20. I've seen them pretty high. I have 2 of them. This one I got in a Loot Crate or Nerd Block one. I can't remember which, but this is the one from the Alien line. And what's interesting about this one is I've seen other versions of this figure where the actual character from the movie is on the card, and in this case it's the alien, and that's no big deal. Maybe this was an exclusive one. But then I had one in my hands to really look at, though, and I started asking myself, is this really worth $10 to $15? And if you're a collector and if you want to hang these on your wall, more power to you. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But the price is what's getting to me. And I think it's safe to say, if you really like these figures, just wait around, because they're probably going to end up in the clearance aisle. They're just overpriced. And that's not the only criticism I have. I saw this Firefly figure in a comic book store. It's Malcolm Reynolds, and Firefly is one of my favorite shows. You might know that there was a line of action figures that came out a few years ago for Serenity, and they were just terrible. But nonetheless, they were action figures. They weren't the best, but so of course I was kind of excited to see something different, and I love Firefly, so I picked up this Malcolm Reynolds for $9.95. So I don't have any real complaints about the card. The packaging's fine. It's that style. On the back, you know, you've got the other figures in this line. But take a look at these figures. I mean, they're just truly awful. I mean, I'm trying to decide if how much of this is intentional and how much of this is just lazy. And if you take a really close look, take it, for example, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Look at the thumb. You can almost see right through that, because when they poured the plastic in the mold, it's just not substantial. I'd be surprised if he can even hold this gun that he comes with, because this is just cheaply made. And I get it. I do get it. They're going after a style. But if you look at an old Star Wars action figure, they were better than this. They were just better. And this is made by Funko, and Funko they're pretty good at making pop culture toys. They buy lots of licenses for lots of movies, and they put out the vinyl big head figures, the bobbleheads, and some of them are pretty cool. However, if you go to Books A Million or a comic book store or other places, you see a lot of these on the shelves, and you just don't see them flying off, because they cost a lot, and they're really not, in my opinion, I don't really think they're designed to be opened. I think they look perfectly good in this box, but I doubt very seriously if I'm going to buy any more of them. They're more of a curiosity. I don't see people really opening these up and thinking, I'm going to recreate some scenes from Firefly. Number one, you don't even have all of the crew. You don't have any vehicles to go with it, so... And you still have these really poorly made, poorly painted figures at really high prices. I was also a bit disappointed when I saw the Wash figure from Firefly. The paint was still wet when they put it in the package, and there was paint stains on the inside of the bubble. I mean, that's just not quality. That's not the kind of quality we would expect from a company like Funko or even a company like Playmates that it's notorious for bad paint. I know there's a lot of people out there that love these. I've watched the reviews, but I thought it was time that we had a critical look at these figures, and I'm here to tell you that if you want to spend your money on them for an overrated trading card, be my guest. But there's much better things to buy out there. So I get the novelty, I get the nostalgia factor, I get all of that. I get the primitive design that they're trying to recapture something, but the Star Wars action figures of the 80s were better than this. For example, just an Obi-Wan Kenobi was just so much better. The proportions were better. I mean, look how short Mao's legs are in this. It's almost, it's hard to say if they're doing this affectionately or if they're doing it just as a joke, or if they're just doing it to make money because they think there's a lot of suckers out there. I don't know. I'm torn. Part of me likes them. Part of me thinks these are cool. And I certainly am a fan of that old Kenner style. But if you're going to spend lots of dollars on action figures, and if you want them on a card like this, you might be better off just investing in some actual genuine Kenner figures from the 80s, because there's still plenty of them out there on the card. And I would rather have one of those in my pocket 20 years from now than one of these that I doubt is ever going to be worth very much. And I think the novelty is going to go away pretty soon, and these things are going to end up in the clearance bins. Disagree with me, feel free to. Please leave your comments tame, don't curse me to hell for saying this. But I do think that Funko needs to step up their game a little bit. Some of the other licenses they have are Pulp Fiction, Back to the Future, Angel. I noticed that they had some other trademarks they hadn't unveiled figures for yet, but I just think they need to do something a little bit more diverse than this, because I think this is going to be a novelty that's just going to end up taking up space. So there's my piece. I said it. Feel free to rate, comment, subscribe. Looking forward to reading your comments on this one. So there you have it. That's my take on the Funko ReAction figures. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.